Hi, this is a demonstration of Meraki Systems Manager and what we're going to use to manage the iPads once we get them sent out with Signature Touch. So right now I'm logged into the Meraki dashboard. I'm going to give you a brief overview of this dashboard, and I'm going to add one of the devices onto it so you can see how they work together. Right now I'm looking at the client list. Obviously I don't have any iPads added to it, so there's nothing to see there. And this tab here is Map. That'll be nice to see once we have several of them set up, but right now there's nothing to look at right there. So I'm going to go to MDM, which is Mobile Device Management, and click on the Apps tab. You'll see that right now I'm in the Network Systems Manager. We can set up different networks depending on where we are. So, for example, Region 3 would have its own network. We can even break it down to Yale having a network or a specific branch in Yale having its own network. And the networks allow us to basically manage those devices individually. So for the Systems Manager network, I have these three apps on them. So any device that's put onto the Systems Manager network is going to automatically have these these apps pushed onto it. So if I go into Profiles, we already have a profile set up, and that's going to have just settings. That's why it's called Manage Settings right now. I didn't rename it. So all devices get that. And the settings, as you can see in this tab, is everything in here. So we can enforce restrictions on any devices. You'll see there's a ton of restrictions we can put on. So that's nice. We can do a lot of other stuff, but restrictions is probably going to be the big one that we're looking at. If you look back over here on the tabs, VPP and DEP, it's Volume Purchase Program and Deployment Enrollment Program, Device Enrollment Program, sorry. That's something that we do through Apple, and we just link the account with Meraki. So once that's set up, that'll be a different demonstration that I can show you. If you go down to the Configure tab, you'll see one of the big ones is geofencing. Geofencing basically allows you to set up alerts. So if your device leaves where it's supposed to be, let's say this test one that I have right now is set up around the USCSI building in Middletown. So if I put this tag, which is test, onto a device, which I'll show you in a few minutes, anytime that device leaves this circle, it's going to alert me via email, and you'll see that momentarily. So that's pretty much the big things. I know that was really quick, but that's what we're going to be using Meraki for. You can manage the apps, you can push those apps out onto the devices, and then we can remove them, update them, add more apps if we want to. We can do a lot of stuff with it. So if I go back into MDM, I'm going to go to Add Devices here. It gives you a bunch of instructions, but all you really need to know is this right here. That's your network ID. That doesn't change ever, and it stays on the website, so you'll always be able to see it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mirror this iPad onto the computer here. This iPad doesn't really have much on it. It has OE Touch, but if you went back into this app section, you'll remember there was Sig Touch, there was a calculator, and there was a Meraki management tool. So I'm going to go into the App Store here. You'll see I already looked for Meraki Systems Manager. So if I download that, see it's downloading in the background. Once this installs, I'll open it up. Something to know is it always gives you an error right when you open it, or occasionally the first time out of 10 it doesn't. So I'll type that enrollment code in right here. Now once this is set up with the device enrollment program with Apple, we won't even need to do this. This will be set up for us. So what this is going to do is start prompting me, saying I need to install this program, I need to install Meraki. It's going to start pushing all that stuff that was in that profile. It's also going to basically prompt me to give up administrator access from this device onto the portal back here. So once all that's set up, click Done, and it'll complete the enrollment in the background. Click OK, and you'll see Now it's trying to push the applications onto the device. So I'll just install everything that it's telling me to. That's it. And you'll see it's now installing in the background. So I can minimize this. This is all set now. And one thing to note is, let's say signature touch, for example, there's a lot of settings inside here. So even the login isn't set up right. So we're still going to have to go in there manually and do all that. So that's an unfortunate thing, but this still saves us a lot of time. So if I go into Monitor and I go into Clients now, you'll see it shows recently added. It already added the name. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to take this tag off, and then I'm going to add test. Now this puts the geofence on it. So you'll see I'm working from home today, so you're going to see it's going to alert me saying this device is not in the location that it's supposed to be in. You'll see the email pop up in a couple seconds probably. Until then, I'm going to drill into this. So I can drill into the device. And there's the email right there. I drill into the device, and you'll see it's got all the device information down to the battery life. It says it's violating the geofence. It shows where it is over here. Under the management, it shows that your apps are up to date. Now, that's not saying that the apps themselves are up to date. That means what's on the device is up to date with what's on the profile. So it has signature touch and it has a calculator. If I scroll down, it's going to show everything that's on the device. So unfortunately, I can't download something that's out of date, but you'll see that there's an update and a remove button down here. So I want to remove this calculator. I hit OK, and momentarily you'll see that this calculator is going to disappear. Now if I keep going down, you'll see that these two fields here are logs. So they log everything that anyone does. You'll see that the calculator just disappeared. It has our certificates down here that we set up. So this screen is great for looking really deep into any specific device. So that's nice. Now if I go back here and hit map, I'm going to actually close out the mirror here. It's not very impressive right now because we only have one device, but if you had, let's say, 50 devices, some of them being on the road, you can actually track them as they move. You can see where all of them are. So it's something nice that you have. So once everything's set up in here, it's mostly going to be monitoring, but we can still go into apps and we can push more apps onto it. We can just add something in here, and since it's on the Systems Manager network, once we go back into Monitor, you'll see, since I deleted the calculator, you'll see one app is missing. We can then push that app back onto the device. We can do some other stuff like clear the password, lock the device, erase the device if we needed to. There's a lot of force things we can do here. So that's pretty much everything that we're going to be using this for. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Unfortunately, I can't really go too in-depth with the device enrollment program and the volume purchase program right now because we don't have it set up through Apple. But once that's set up, I'll do another demonstration, hopefully with several more iPads, and I'll show you how that works. So it'll be a little bit more streamlined. All right, thank you.